after being cooped up through COVID-19, so we decided that we needed to get out for a while. We talked about hiking and we talked about fishing, even talked about some things that I really shouldn't mention, but we really wanted something that would take us the extra mile. The very next evening I was talking to my dad, and he told me about a big idea he had of panning for gold and getting out in the creeks. He said the price of gold was $2 an ounce. About swallowed my dip there on that couch. That was more than I'd ever made in a single week. We talked it over, but not too long. I mean, what on earth could possibly go wrong? We had everything in the cabinets that we needed to eat. We started packing everything in the kitchen, the coffee, the filters, and all the fixings. Threw it all in the car and headed for East Tennessee. Well, we didn't know how to do what we were about to do, but still, we took off half-cocked to the mountains, 'cause there's gold in them there hills. We didn't have a temperature, our throats didn't have no blisters, but no doctor was needed to know that we had gold fever. We found a campground where we could stay till morning, then hike 2 miles just to get where we was going, but I was still just as excited as I could be. Well, we dug and we panned and we panned and we dug, but all we found was salamanders and mud. But I was determined and wasn't about to admit defeat. With heads hung low, we trekked back out, and I could tell by her face that she had her doubts, but was already devising myself a plan. As my dear wife washed up and took a nap, I studied up on Alabama gold camp and was dreaming of all the gold in that black sand. Well, we didn't know how to do what we were about to do, but still, we took off half-cocked to the mountains, 'cause there's gold in them there hills. We didn't have a temperature, our throats didn't have no blisters, but no doctor was needed to know that we had gold fever. Well, I knew I'd found the rainbow's end. We packed up and here we went again, headed for a place just west of the Georgia line. Past the land of the dead and turned right at the cross. We'd been driving for hours and we're totally lost. Her phone was out of signal and coincidentally so was mine. After several guesses, we topped a ridge, then crossed the train tracks over a bridge and saw a sign that guided us towards the camp. We pulled into camp long after dark and searched around for a place to park, then set up our tent by the light of a Coleman lamp. All of our efforts were in vain, 'cause in the middle of the night it started to rain, and that's when we found out that we had holes in our tent. I woke up as my wife started to holler. Both of our beds were floating on water, so we jumped up and out the door we went. Well, the thunder rolled and the lightning sparked. We both were convinced that we'd seen the ark, but I didn't slow down to see who might be inside. I thought to myself, you're gonna die from pneumonia, trying to keep from dying from corona, as I bailed into the car trying to find me a place to hide. Well, we didn't know how to do what we were about to do, but still, we took off half-cocked to the mountains, 'cause there's gold in them there hills. We didn't have a temperature, our throats didn't have no blisters, but no doctor was needed to know that we had gold fever. headed down to the creek, determined to see first color before anyone else could start. About 3 hours later, I was getting concerned. I started second-guessing everything I had learned. You know, prospecting just ain't for the faint of heart. I was about to give up and it started to stand when I spotted a glint in the bottom of my pan. It was a speck of gold smaller than a head on a gnat. Well, I got excited and it started to yell, tripped over my feet and backwards I fell. My grand little treasure was gone at the drop of a hat. Well, I dug in a pan, then I panned some more, right where I dropped my nugget before, so that I could show it to my darling in case she happened to get one in her pan. So I walked up the hill with no gold to see, but you should have seen the vial that she handed me. That was the last straw. Yep, it was more than I could stand. Well, we didn't know how to do what we were about to do, but still we took off half-cocked to the mountains, 'cause there's gold in them there hills. We didn't have a temperature, our throats didn't have no blisters, but no doctor was needed to know that we had gold fever. Well, now the moral of the story, I guess, is that prospecting can be a heck of a mess, and if you ain't careful, you could end up losing your life. Hell, if you're determined like I was too, just let this song be a lesson to you. If you go prospecting, you better bring along your wife. Well, we didn't know how to do what we were about to do, but still we took off half-cocked to the mountains, 'cause there's gold in them there hills. We didn't have a temperature, our throats didn't have no blisters, but no doctor was needed to know that we had gold fever. Yeah, no doctor was needed to tell us that we had gold fever. But still, we took off half-cocked to the mountains, 'cause there's gold in them there hills. We didn't have a temperature, our throats didn't have no blisters, but no doctor was needed to know that we had gold fever. No doctor was needed to tell us that we had gold fever.